Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Investor More, and I'm buying this foreclosure here in a couple of weeks, and this is the first foreclosure I bought in almost 5 years. Now, I buy a lot of properties for flips, rentals, and it's actually very rare that I buy foreclosures. There just aren't that many of them, so it's kind of exciting when we do get one. The process is a little different than normal houses, and there's a few more things to watch out for, and you never really know how you're going to buy them either. Now, this is the last house I bought as a foreclosure. I bought this in 2019. It was a little bit rough. The one I'm buying now is a little bit rough as well, but it is newer than this one. This one was very old, very stinky if I remember right, and the one I'm buying is very stinky as well. And I've got some short clips of the one I'm buying, but I haven't bought it yet, so I won't do the full video until we've bought it, we've closed on it, and can talk about everything in the house. Hopefully, by that time, we'll make it less stinky by removing some of the items that are in the house, but we'll see how all of that goes. All right, so I actually bought the house I'm buying from an auction. So it is also very rare that we buy properties from auctions. There are auctions all the time. Quite a few properties go to auction, and that used to be a way we buy properties. But usually there's just so much competition at the auctions and so many people buying that we don't get good enough deals there. So we don't really buy from the foreclosure auction, from the public trustee auction, or an online auction like this one was. So I was not expecting to get this house. So it was kind of interesting that I did. And I'll talk about how much I paid and all of that once we buy it as well too, because that's not official yet. It's not public record yet. So we will talk about that once it's officially purchased. Now, something to realize about foreclosures, and I actually did a really long in-depth video on foreclosures and what to watch out for, what to look out for here just a couple of weeks ago, and I'll try to remember to link to that in the comments. But just because it's a foreclosure doesn't mean it's a good deal, right? If it's a house in decent shape in a foreclosure, the bank isn't going to come along and say, oh, I just want to take 40% less than it's worth just for the fun of it. No, they want to get as much money as they can. They have shareholders, they have investors, they want to make money too. So a lot of people think, oh, I've got to get a foreclosure. That's how I get good deals. And you can get good deals with them. It's definitely possible, but it's not guaranteed. And a lot of foreclosures actually sell for quite a bit more than I would be willing to pay. And if it's in decent shape, owner-occupants can buy foreclosures, right? There's nothing really stopping them if there aren't major repairs. And a lot of times the foreclosure companies give priority to owner-occupants as well. And it's kind of weird the water meter was inside the house, but that's where it was, because I think this is an addition on this one. But that's a great way for owner-occupants to get good deals on properties. A lot of times you'll find they don't really want foreclosures unless they're in pretty good shape. If they're too rough, it's usually the investors buying them. So like I said, this one was an online auction. I wasn't expecting to get it. I did get it, so that was kind of cool. And the house is a 4-level, an interesting floor plan. I've never bought one that had a floor plan like it, so that'll be interesting as well. It's only got one bedroom on the top floor, but then it's got like a family room up there with a fireplace, a couple bedrooms in the lower floor, then another basement as well. And like I said, it's a little rough. It was for sale as a short sale for a while, didn't sell then, and then ended up going back to foreclosure. The foreclosure process, the bank gives other people a chance to bid on the property at the trustee auction. Nobody did, so it went back to the bank, and the bank put it up for auction on a website, and that's where we ended up getting it. So as you can see, this last one we had was very interesting, and you do find this sometimes with foreclosures too. Some people get mad that they're losing the house, they do damage to it, and there's some things to be careful with. Now, with the auction property and the foreclosure I'm buying, you can't do an inspection. You can't really do an appraisal. They're selling it as is. They're not going to do any repairs at all. But some of these other foreclosure properties that are listed on the MLS, listed with an agent, aren't auctions. A lot of times you still can do an inspection. You still can do financing with an appraisal. And once in a while, a lender will even do some repairs on a property if it's required for financing. Things like that. So buying a foreclosure isn't a ton different if it's on the MLS for sale with an agent, but if it's an auction property, it can be a lot different than purchasing a normal property. So the one I also am buying, I'm sure is coming with the stuff that's left in it They won't clean it up for you like a normal seller would, and they aren't removing any stuff like a normal seller would. And I'm sure they're not going to make it smell any better like a normal seller would either. So let's take a look real quick at what this house looks like, and then like I said, we'll have a full video of it, go over all the details once I purchase the property. First off, the door frame is really messed up. It bows out a ton. Like I said, did not smell nice. The yard is horrible. We actually went by there today and the fence was blown down. There's code violations from the city. So we're sending that to the seller so they know, and hopefully we'll get that taken care of and fixed. Random shoe in the basement, water damage throughout, possible discoloration on the walls. There's a lot going on in this house. And it's pretty rare, but Nikki, my project manager, could not be in this house because it smelled so bad. Because people had used the toilets and animals had used the floor in many different ways. So like I said, this will be an interesting one. Not very pretty, but hopefully it'll be a good one. And we'll talk about all of that once we buy it and show you the whole property. Thanks for watching. We'll be back soon.